It's always so hard to decide, flowers or $50,000. Which one's the better gift? Keep watching to find out what book I'm talking about today. Hey guys, I'm Denanyoh, and today we are talking about a love story about athletics, and it's really a story about friendship. So today we're talking about the book Game Changer. The author of the book is Rachel Reed. The genre of the book is fiction, and the theme of the book is love story, friendships, athletics. Okay, so if you have not heard of the book Game Changer, you may have heard of the TV show Heated Rivalry. I understand that love is love. You can fall in love with anyone. There's people who are in love with energies. There are people who do not believe in monogamy, people who are in same-sex romantic relationships, heterosexual relationships, polyamorous. If you are lucky enough to fall in love, congratulations, right? So I was like, okay, I don't think I need to really read that. I've only been to one Columbus Blue Jackets hockey game. I wasn't too interested in reading it. What I was not anticipating was the friendships, was the yearning in the relationships. There's a couple things that I really love about Rachel Reed's writing. There is a good amount of love and sex and affection in these books. I'm not sure if they would be called erotica, but I've read erotica books. Enjoy them. These books do not fetishize what's happening. It's not in a gawking or disrespectful way, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so everybody I meet, I don't want to see them have sex, but the way she talks about the characters and how much they're in love, you're kind of like, it feels so natural and so sweet and so like, it's affectionate. It's like you're lovingly looking at the guy while he's making your blueberry shake because you love the feel of his arms on you, and so you're enjoying thinking about that while you're watching him scoop out the blueberries to make your smoothie. We've probably all experienced, and don't be weird, I'm not trying to say you have to love blueberries, I'm not trying to say you have to fall in love with the smoothie maker, but like where one thing can trigger an emotion for you and then you're like, oh, I remember being there, I remember seeing that, I remember doing that. I have not read books with yearning and like that deep endearment for another person in a really long time. For one, I've been really into mysteries for the last couple years and a lot of nonfiction books. But Game Changer is all about falling in love and the beauty of it and how you can have a deep friendship and appreciation as well of the love, and it's just so cute. One of my favorite lines from the book is when Scott says to Kip, how can one person be so tempting? Has anyone ever said that to me? Can someone say that to me? Husband, if you're watching, please say that to me on my next birthday. I'm literally blushing the whole time I'm reading the book. Okay, so a few things that I really enjoyed about the book. I love towards the end of the book when Scott tells his teammates that he is in a relationship with Kip. Kip is one of my favorite characters. I want to be his best friend. He reminds me of one of my close friends. Complete nerd, history buff, loves his family, right, regular guy. And I think it's Carter who's like, Kip, that name is just so fucking cute. I just love it. Look at you and Kip. That is just so cute. Because they are gushing and teasing him the way they would be if he was just dating anybody, like in a heterosexual relationship. And you're like, how is your girl? How's she feeling? How's she this? How's she that? They're teasing him in that same way, and I really appreciate that. The teammates can still have that camaraderie and they don't have an issue with it. I will say I'm reading the book, and there was one part that was so suspenseful for me. When Carter gives Scott the restaurant reservation, I was so terrified that someone was going to see them and take their picture and then blast him for being out on a date with a man. And I was so stressed out watching that, because I was like, for you to be in love with someone else and be forming a relationship, and then for someone else to move it further along that outpaces what you want is not fair, right? And so I was like, please do not let the paparazzi be here and put them on blast and all that stuff. Like, they do see them at the museum, but there's no context to it, and so it doesn't pull Scott out of the closet before he's ready. But on the reverse, the reason why that scene was so important to me is because I'm reading the book and I'm like, this is so unfair to Kip that he can't openly date Scott. Now, there's a couple of levels to that, right? I enjoy a great amount of anonymity, right? We do not even think about how much we do get to move around the world and be anonymous. To be famous is one thing. To be a hockey star in your town where you play and have people see you on billboards and then bam, there's your face, bam, there's your this paparazzi with you, that's a completely different thing. And so I understand why it took Scott so long to eventually come out and embrace the fact that he is attracted to men, he wants to date men, he's in love with Kip, he wants to tell the entire world that that is his boyfriend. I understand that, especially with him being an orphan, the way he describes himself in the book. He wants to get close, but also his teammates are his family. I know that's a toxic thing when you're at work and someone says we're family, but like for him, these are the people that are closest to him, that mean the most to him. It's a really, really, really big deal. And also, I'm reading the entire book and I'm cheering for Kip the whole time. So I'm like, you better acknowledge Kip. Kip is a good man and Kip loves you. Don't mess this up. I love that Scott eventually got there. If you have seen the show, you know what happens when Scott and Kip announce their relationship. If you've read the book, you know it as well. But Scott took the steps that he needed to embrace his sexuality and even come out of the closet, which there are other videos that talk about how problematic that is. You're not in the closet. It's just a matter of you not telling people things that they probably don't need to know. I also had not really considered the fact that I have never had to do that, because it's just been assumed that I would be attracted to the opposite sex and date the opposite sex. And so I definitely glossed over that part. I'm just like, yeah, you love who you love, it's great. But you really get to see Scott fight and wrestle with it. And it's not that he's embarrassed or ashamed of Kip. He's has to consider how that's going to impact his brand deals. He has to consider how that's going to impact people on the ice hockey rink, right? He has to consider that. He talks about how there are a lot of homophobic words and slang that are used to kind of make people feel bad or to like get under their skin when you're playing sports. A lot of times you can laugh those things off, but Scott talks about how all of the players get to travel with their spouses, or they get to have the spouse show up and then kiss them on the field and hold up their kids. And you don't really get to see that with the players who are in same-sex relationships, right? And so this book makes me so absolutely happy. Would I reread this book? Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that once I get to books 5 and 6, I'm going to be absolutely obsessed, like always. So typically is my rule that I have to read a book 3 times before I buy it. Otherwise, my entire house would just be covered in books. It's so good. I read it, I immediately reread it, and then I went and got the physical book, and then I listened to the audiobook because I like to hear the voices too. Love the storytelling. Rachel Reed is so funny. Her little bio on the back of the books where she says she has 2 boring degrees and 2 interesting kids, I think is so funny, because it really doesn't matter, right? Whether she has just been a bartender herself and heard all these stories, whether it's just the fact that she's been obsessed with hockey for years, which is what she says, and that's how she's able to write the books. It doesn't matter. The storytelling is compelling. The love stories, the friendship, the complexities of them is compelling. And I'm so excited to read the next ones. And I've never looked at blueberry smoothies the same way. All right, y'all. I will see you in the next book review. Bye. I enjoy a great amount of anonymity